Recently about whether special counsel Robert Mueller, who is investigating Russia's meddling in the election, is overstepping his bounds. What's especially interesting is that notion has been raised by Ken Starr. He, of course, was the independent counsel who investigated Whitewater, an investigation that ultimately led to the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal, or the investigation of that. I'll speak with Ken Starr in a moment. But first, here's what he said on CNN's New Day on Friday.
To the extent that you're moving beyond collusion with Russian operatives or Russian interests or the Russian government itself, and into that which doesn't seem to have a direct tie to Russia, then these questions are in fact raised. It is certainly a serious matter when a special counsel is accused, and I was accused of that, of exceeding his or her authority. That's a serious matter because we do not want investigators and prosecutors out on a fishing expedition.
Ken Starr joins me now. Some people who saw that obviously were critical of, or surprised, or thought that was hypocritical of those comments that the idea of a fishing expedition. They say that, you know, you started out investigating Whitewater, ended up investigating Clinton and Lewinsky.
But what I also said is that there are checks and balances under the old statute under which I was appointed. So the most controversial phase of the investigation, the Lewinsky phase, was specifically authorized by the Attorney General.
Who was Janet Reno?
It was Janet Reno.
So you when you found evidence about the president's comments about and his behavior with Monica Lewinsky, you actually went back to Janet Reno to get approval to investigate that.
Well, exactly right. And the issue was perjury committed? Was there obstruction of justice? A number of very serious possible crimes involving the president himself and others around the president. But we didn't just start investigating, we went to the Attorney General. So to bring that back to the Russia collusion investigation, I think it's the responsibility of the special counsel to make sure that he's staying within the guardrails, within the ambit of what he was charged with doing. That's the point. We don't want fishing expeditions.
One of the things that all the reporting is saying is that at this point, Robert Mueller is actually looking not just at the Donald Trump Jr. meeting, which there's this grand jury for, and not just obviously the former National Security Advisor Flynn, but looking at potential financial improprieties or transactions between Russians and then citizen Donald Trump years before the election. In your opinion, would that be because it would still involve Russians who have potential links to the government, would that be appropriate?
I think it's getting to the outer perimeter. It's a judgment call. It's based on here are the facts. But let me come back to the Lewinsky investigation. We go to the Attorney General of the United States, Janet Reno, and said, here is what we have. And we laid it out transparently. This is what we have. This is the entirety of what we have. We believe it merits investigation, and so it's your judgment. We would not have investigated had we not had the approval, the imprimatur of Attorney General Reno, and then it goes to the three-judge court. Now we don't have any of those mechanisms in place. All we have is the judgment of the Justice Department senior leadership in the person of Rod Rosenstein, who's a very honorable man.
He gave an interview on Fox News. I just want to play some of that recently.
The special counsel is subject to the rules and regulations of the Department of Justice, and we don't engage in fishing expeditions. If he finds evidence of a crime that's within the scope of what Director Mueller and I have agreed is the appropriate scope of his investigation, then he can. If it's something outside that scope, he needs to come to the acting Attorney General, at this time me, for permission to expand his investigation.
And that's exactly what you're saying, that they have to do.
Exactly. Rod Rosenstein is now the Attorney General. He is the three-judge court from the old independent counsel days.
The USA Today's report.
And who cares? Donald Trump did something 50 years ago with Russia, Moscow, or whatever. He wasn't president at that time. He was a free man. We talking about what happened in 2016. Sometimes I wonder if American people has brain or have brains. Do they really have brains? Seriously? Because they act like they're so dumb and silly. Oh my God, I can't believe this. This is annoying. Something that happened 50 years ago, what the heck it got to do with something that happened in 2016 election? Come on, geez, wake up. You guys are annoying. God damn it.
Through his chief counsel, President Trump has sent private messages to Robert Mueller, messages expressing, quote, appreciation and greetings. Does it, as you see what's going on, Does it seem like the Trump administration has changed, or there's a change of tone from the White House toward the investigation? I mean, fewer tweets from the president attacking or raising questions about the investigation, and obviously there's the change of attorneys.
Yes, and this kind of outreach is entirely appropriate by an attorney. So this is John Dowd, who's a very experienced and able criminal defense lawyer representing President Trump. And for him to have this line of communication with Robert Mueller is entirely appropriate. It would not be appropriate, needless to say, and his lawyers wouldn't allow it at all, if he said, well, why don't we bring Bob Mueller in here? I'd like to have a conversation.
But it's okay for the president to send messages to Bob Mueller.
Yes, is it ideal? I don't think so. I think it's better for it to be entirely arm's length.
Did President Clinton send you messages of greetings and appreciation?
Well, his counsel did. Yeah. I wouldn't say appreciation, because it was not that kind of situation. But, I had a very good relationship with First Lloyd Cutler, who was President Clinton's counsel at the time I took over the investigation. And I always had a professional relationship, even when we disagreed. Mm-hmm. And then with the president's outside counsel, David Kendall of Williams and Connolly.
The other thing I've talked to every chief of staff or everybody who's ever served in an administration, Republican or Democrat, they all say the same thing, that it's crucial that the president and his team be able to compartmentalize when there's an investigation like this going on. It's one of the things people said about Bill Clinton, that for better or worse, he was able to compartmentalize and conduct business and then separate. There's real questions of whether President Trump can do that, but in your opinion, is that crucial for a president to do?
Critically important, and I think you're right. President Clinton was able, from everything we know, to focus on other things and say, okay, we're here to get the job done, we're here to serve the country, and so forth. There's this over here, but we leave that to the lawyers. Right, and again, Lloyd Cutler, who was counsel to the president, made it very clear that when it came to issues of potential criminal culpability, you go raise that, Ken, with David Kendall, his private counsel, and that, I think, worked very well.
Judge Starr, appreciate your time. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Save the cars you like on Auto Trader.
My own Comedy Central roast, and Dr. Rickles has stepped in, and my wife is like curled over laughing, like, yeah, he doesn't know what dicks look like it's the best thing she's ever heard in her life, and I'm just shut down in the corner like a pitiful semi-pro comedian that just got told by a doctor, and then the appointment's over, I don't have any time to think or say anything else, and we're in the car and we're on the way home. So time goes on, we go to our next doctor's appointment. This time for some reason it's a different doctor. He's a little older. They've got a nice chair for me. The baby's big enough, they're doing the search over, they're doing it over the stomach, so no one's getting penetrated. I feel like I can finally be me, which is what those appointments are about, you know. And the doctor does the same thing. He freeze frames the screen and says, hey, if you guys want to know the sex of the baby, I can tell you. My wife cuts him off immediately and says, we already know, the last doctor said it's a girl. And then as if he knew what was happening, he looked at me and said, well, what do you think it is? Well, Doc, thanks for asking. 100% it's a man. It's not a boy anymore, it's a man. My wife shoots me a look that you can interpret as, please stop talking, or, I'm so sorry I've got to spend the rest of my life with you. And in the voice of Jesus comes out of this doctor and he says, he's right, it's a boy. Yeah, and then on a tablet device that he had on his lap with the freeze frame still there, like we're watching an instant replay, he circles my son's penis, draws an arrow to it, and writes in huge letters, baby penis.
That's what we need to do to King Jong-un. We need to tie his balls and his penis together and hang him up on the tree. Hang him up on any kind of tree. Upside down with his fat ass. We need to do something to King Jong-un, but let him be the first to show the first punch. If he chose the first punch, we will punch him 10 times harder. He will never wake up from his dream. And that is absolutely correct. Okay? Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-un.
I'm smarter than doctors. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, we're going to give it to Kim Jong-un. But we shouldn't rush into nothing. Let him be the first person to throw the first hit. Then we will hit him harder. He will never wake up from his sleep. No more ever in his lifetime. Kim Jong-un, whatever your name is, you're just jealous. You pick and fight, that's all. Because America don't want to have anything to do with North Korea. America has nothing to do with North Korea. And you so upset, you so jealous, and I don't know who put you up to this shit. Why you doing this 2017 when we have so much other shit going on? Kim Jong-un, we need to tie you upside down, hang you up by your balls, your nut bears, your dick, your penis, whatever. We need to tie it and hang you up on a tree. Kim Jong-un,